Everybody, JC here, and welcome to another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends Deluxe Blob figure from Hasbro. So let's head over to the review studio and take a closer look. Comes in your standard type windowless Marvel Legend packaging. You've got an image of the figure on the front of the box, the name of the character up top, you've got the X-Men logo down below, you've got the Marvel Legend logo up there in the corner. Because this is a 60th anniversary figure, you've got that logo at the very top of the packaging. You've got some artwork featuring the Blob on one side, and then the other side features an image of the figure itself. And then on the back of the packaging, you've got to look at the figure once again, along with the accessories that are included with it. All right, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at good old Fred Dukes, aka the Blob, outside of the packaging. So the only accessories this figure comes with is you get an extra head sculpt, and then you also get an extra set of hands. So as far as the hands go, you get a pair of closed fists, and then you get a pair of open hands, and you can mix and match however you want. Now with the head sculpts, you get this normal one. This is the one that's attached to the figure when you take it out of the packaging. I like the coloring on the hair. I thought they did a pretty good job with that, along with the sculpting of the hair. This is the normal expression with the mouth closed. The skin tone is good. He does have the double chin, but it's not quite as folded over as I remember the Build-A-Figure version being, which I don't actually have. I only have a few of the pieces to the original Build-A-Figure, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to pick this one up, because this is really the first time I've actually had Blob in my collection. But overall, I think this is a pretty nice looking head sculpt, and is actually my favorite of the two that come with the figure. Now this is the second head sculpt, which has the open kind of screaming mouth, which again, overall, I think they've done a pretty good job with the hair sculpt, the skin tone, the paint applications overall are solid. And you know, it's nice to have the extra head with the different expression, but I don't know, I'm not a fan of the open mouth as much as the regular expression on this one. Okay, now looking at the rest of the body, as far as paint applications go, overall, you know, no complaints here. The skin tone on the body matches up with the head sculpts pretty good. They've included throughout the figure, on the arms and the legs and everything, these spots, skins, sunspots, age spots, whatever you want to call them. But you can find freckles, I don't know, but you can find those throughout the figure, which I believe they also had done on the Build-A-Figure version as well. So again, I don't have the Build-A-Figure, but I do have some of the pieces. So like one thing I noticed that's very different is, like, you'll notice on the legs here, on this new figure, the legs are much more smoother. As far as the skin, you don't have as much folded over skin. And he's been drawn both ways in the comics, so you know, both are kind of accurate. But the thing I don't like about the Build-A-Figure legs that I've seen in pictures and stuff is this ball joint sticks out rather badly, looks kind of funny. So I definitely feel like the legs on this new figure look much better overall. Now the colors on the outfit are not as bright. The yellow is a darker yellow on this one than what we got on the Build-A-Figure. You have some texturing here on his belt. His stomach is very smooth, so there's no like dents or indentations or anything really there. It's just smooth, and it's a hard plastic. It would have been cool if they could have made this some type of rubber type material, so that like you could like mimic people punching him in the gut and it basically not doing anything. I know that probably wouldn't be too feasible, but it's just something that I think would be kind of a cool feature if they were able to pull that off. You've got the sculpting detail here on the wristbands, on the yellow portions, and again the yellow is much darker on this version than on the Build-A-Figure. And then you have that same design on the boots as well. And then real quick, here's a look at the figure from the back. So again, you have like the folded over skin a little bit there on the neck. You have the spots throughout all the skin. And again, very smooth on the back portion there. Now this figure stands just a little bit over 8 inches tall. I actually think he has a pretty good height to him. I believe the Build-A-Figure is maybe just a little bit taller than this one, but again, overall, for the character, I think he scales pretty good with other figures. So just to give you a few comparisons, here's a look at a fellow big man, Marvel Legends Kingpin, the one that Hasbro released a couple years ago. And you can see that the Blob is taller, as I believe he should be. And then here's a comparison with the Marvel Legends X-Men Colossus figure, the one that was included in the 2-pack, the anniversary 2-pack with Juggernaut. And again, the Blob is taller. And then to go along with Colossus, of course, is Juggernaut himself, which is taller than the Blob here, which I believe is comic book accurate. I believe the Juggernaut should be bigger than the Blob. And then finally, here's a comparison with the Blob's fellow Brotherhood of Evil Mutant teammates. So we've got Pyro, the Walgreens exclusive Mystique, the recently released Toad, and the even more recently released Avalanche. And again, I think Blob scales well here. Now all we need is a figure of the character Destiny. Okay, now for articulation, which I think for a big guy like this, it's good enough for me. So he can turn his head a little bit to the left and the right. If you turn it too much, it will pop off. But again, you can actually turn it pretty good to the left and the right. He can look down about that much, and then he can look up about that much. So he's actually got pretty good up movement, and then you get decent head pivot with this one as well. Now the arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint, so he can get his arm out pretty good, and you've got good rotation there at the shoulder. You do not get a bicep swivel, but you get the rotation at the elbow. You do only get a single hinged elbow with this one, but he can bend his elbow, not too bad. And then with the hands, you've got the rotation and the hinges, so up and down movement. You've got a rotation joint up here, but he really does not have much in the way of crunch. He can look back a little bit there at that joint, but he really can't crunch forward very much, which, for a guy this size isn't really unrealistic. He does not have a waist swivel at all. I'm a little surprised they didn't give him a waist swivel, but no waist swivel. This is all just solid plastic. And then with the legs, he can do the splits about that much. You can get the leg forward pretty good, about, straight ahead about, and then you can do the leg out and back as well. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a single hinged knee, which he does not actually have rotation at the knee. You do, again, get the thigh swivel, but he does not have rotation at the knee, and he can bend his knee about that much. You do not get a boot cuff swivel. You've got hinges on the feet, so up and down movement, and you do get ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. My overall thoughts is I like the figure in its own right. It's a nice addition to the collection, and being I didn't have the Build-A-Figure, I'm very glad that I was able to get this one. The biggest downside to this one is the price. It is, I guess, being priced at a mega deluxe figure, and the fact that you only get an extra head and an extra pair of hands, and to me it's just the normal Build-A-Figure size. I'm not really sure what warrants that mega deluxe price tag, but it is still cheaper than if you tried to get the Build-A-Figure off the secondary market. And again, being now that we, except for Destiny, have all the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants team, I'm very glad to be able to add Blob to my collection. So as always, I'd love to hear your own thoughts about the figure down in the comments section below. Do you think Hasbro priced it too high? Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing to it and hitting the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. If you're so inclined, please like the video. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.